I'm Shipra Malhotra, Managing Editor with ISMG and your host for this session. We are delighted to have you join us for what promises to be an insightful discussion on data center innovations to power the future of manufacturing and distribution organizations. Today, we have gathered to address a critical aspect of IT infrastructure for manufacturing and distribution organizations. And as they accelerate their digital transformation drive to fuel continuous innovation and seize new market opportunities, their reliance on data centers has grown exponentially. A future ready data center strategy is imperative for these companies to stay competitive, enable a seamless transition from Industry 4.0 to Industry 5.0, as well as drive innovations around supply chain efficiencies. But how equipped are the data centers to accommodate the advanced computing and data centric infrastructure to support the advanced analytics and AI driven demands of the modern manufacturing environments? And how to enable them to handle the rapid advancement in AI and ML and the advanced computing needs are some of the aspects that we will be covering in the sessions today. We encourage you to actively participate by submitting your questions in the Q&A session, which is there at the bottom of your platform. There will be poll questions interspersed during the sessions, and we look forward to your insights into that. And before we dive into the session, let's take a moment to welcome our speakers and set the stage for today's conversation. Please join me in welcoming Girish Dhawale, CTO Data Center Services at Sifi Technologies, and Gautam Bakru, VP LOB Head at Data Center Services, Sifi Technologies. So over to you, Girish and Gautam.
Thank you, Shipra. Thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Shipra, once again, and good afternoon, everyone. I hope today's session will be insightful for you all, and we will also learn from whatever the queries you guys are raising and part of the manufacturing, right, innovation, all those digital transformation happening at the manufacturing industries across places. So we have set up an agenda: AI-ready data center, modernizing manufacturing to drive innovation and optimize cost. Right, this would be part of the session. So we will run a small presentation for you all before getting into a panel discussion, and we will try to take as many questions also as possible. So this is part of the agenda, right, which is getting covered. So we'll be talking about manufacturing business priorities and technology demand, how the leaders of the IT industries are catering to those particular business priorities. Where are we moving as an industry, right? Manufacturing 4.0 to 5.0 transformation, which is happening in the industry. The building blocks of an AI ready data center. Yeah, this is a buzzword which is moving, and how the data centers are getting ready, right, with AI environment actually, right? And Sifi data center powering the manufacturing industry, and we have a lot of customers case studies which is coming, and we are trying to cater to those particular requirement. A lot of these customers which are coming to, we will talk about those particular set as well. Next, please. So, modernizing manufacturing through AI-ready data center is a crucial strategy for driving innovation and optimizing costs. Manufacturing is setting up business priorities. A digital thread, as you can see, digital thread is a communication framework that integrates data flow and provide an integrated view of an asset's data through its life cycle for end-to-end visibility, your real-time data migration integration which is happening, your improved collaboration and enhanced life cycle management. So this is what digital thread is getting to the manufacturing. Your quality controls, right, which are the measures at manufacturing, right, is driven by insight to minimize losses. Your stringent assurance, right, standard and full traceability across the supply chain. Your smart shop floor, right, is helping to improve decisions, right, for better enhanced safety and productivity. Your business continuity planning, which is there. So business continuity planning in manufacturing ensures that critical business functions can continue during and after a disaster or disruption which is happening across industries. So business continuity planning in manufacturing ensures that critical business functions. This planning is also crucial to minimize downtime. You protect assets, right, which is there along with the manufacturing companies, and maintain productivity and customer trust as well. This is very critical as part of the, and this is the transformation which is happening across manufacturing. It is becoming a business priority for all the organizations. Your intellectual property protection which is there, right, which prevents unauthorized usage and open gateways for research and development. Your supply chain resilience which is there, building robust supply chain for manufacturing industries. Your sustainability and green manufacturing which adopt eco-friendly practices, how the manufacturing is reducing carbon footprint, right, how they are becoming more environmental friendly. And your enhanced change management which is there, which is a foster of culture of innovation and adaptability by upskilling workforce. Your training of your workforce is equally critical actually, which is there. So these are becoming the manufacturing business priorities, and how these business priorities are leading to the IT leaders, actually what changes they are bringing into their particular organization. If you can come to the next slide please, Jasmine. So these business priorities are translating to technology demands, how these smart manufacturing are leveraging IoT, AI, and automation to enhance manufacturing processes. The real-time data, how it is helping the organization to bring better efficiency of data analytics, which help them to do continuous improvement. Your lean manufacturing techniques are supporting the digital tools for the organization. Cyber security, the biggest threat which is happening across industry, right? The cyber security. So the IT leaders are getting ready to protect their organization from cyber threats. So intrusion detection system, your network segmentation which is happening, your multi-factor authentication. So multiple level of cyber security is coming onto the organization level. Your real-time monitoring, the data, how the organizations are analyzing that particular data at a stock level to reduce the overall stock, to avoid stock outs which are happening. So these IT leaders are getting ready for their organization, how they can bring in better analysis of this particular scenario. Your predictive maintenance system, again leveraging your IoT, your AI analysis and automation to enhance manufacturing processes across organizations. Your plant modernization, your supply chain optimization, actually, and your regulatory compliances. So regulatory compliances are becoming very, very stringent for your internal auditors, your external auditors, from government point of view, from your external customer perspective, actually. So all these regulatory compliances are becoming critical, and IT leaders are getting ready to cater to this particular demand, the demand which are coming from the organization, from the business, right? So IT leaders are getting ready for the same. Come to the next slide, please. So this is the transformation which is happening, where we can see that how the traditional IT environment was there, right, and how those transformation is happening across industry, across vertical, not only in India but global. Those changes are happening. So the traditional IT environment which was there, which was most of the data centers were captive, right, limited cloud flexibility was there, right, the compliances, unregulated compliances were there. The interconnectivity was a big problem actually, how you go and connect multiple your factories, right, your manufacturing units, interconnectivity with outside world, interconnectivity with a hybrid environment. So tier level design, how you bring better uptime at the data center level, and both your physical security and data security was a challenge. So in the past, a lot of challenges were there with the traditional IT environment, but the IT leaders are now equipped actually with the digital transformation which is happening. In the future, as we say, bright, a lot of digital IT environment is getting equipped with hybrid IT infrastructure. So the legacy application, your environment which is there, which is required, it could be at captive DC, it could be on co-location requirement, it can go on hybrid environment with a mix of your private cloud infrastructure or your public cloud, which can bring you a lot of scalability, a lot of flexibility. Agility would be there for the organization, right, which is available for them right now. The better uptime, the better SLA. Now the customer's demand is reaching to 99, 100% uptime. How you are assured that how those 100% uptime is getting achieved, and this is getting achieved by the organization, by the data center industry, because data center remain core of any IT transformation, digital transformation. Connecting multiple sites, right, became a hybrid approach for customers, right, heightened security both on your physical security as well as the data security. Your BCP scenario, actually business continuity, which we talked about, your disaster recovery is becoming very, very critical. A lot of times in the past, we have seen that the customers were having certain disaster recovery, right? But these disaster recovery, this business continuity becoming a kind of a norm right now. Your active site, right? Which if one site is going down, the customer should have disaster recovery available. Data centers, your environment ready, compliance ready, and obviously green and sustainable future, which is there, right? So how you reduce carbon footprint, how you bring green energy to the environment. So this is how the transformation is happening from the traditional IT environment to the digital IT environment. The future, the changes which are happening actually as per the norms for the manufacturing environment, and data centers are ready for the same. Come to the next slide, please. This is how the industry is changing from a manufacturing 4.0 to 5.0. Human machine collaboration, your personalization, your sustainability. While industry 4.0 laid the groundwork with advanced technologies like IoT, big data, and automation, manufacturing 5.0 enhances these foundations by emphasizing collaboration between humans and machines, your customization, your sustainability, your resilience, which is there. So this is how the entire transformation which is happening from 4.0 to 5.0. Come to the next slide, please. AI ready data center. Is Girish there? Girish, want to take up?
He isn't here yet, Gautam.
Sure. So this is how the evolution of data center is happening. The real-time analysis of the data is helping the to give the data center industry that predictive, the cognitive environment actually. Where in the past, when the data center were ready, they were giving uptime, right? They were giving certain kind of a view monitoring. But with the data analysis coming up, actually, it gives a better, improved service level. The customers are demanding 100% uptime, which and your resolution time, your operations time, right? The response time is getting reduced. The response time has to be within 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Your resolution time has to be within 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So this is how the predictive analysis is helping us with the transformation actually. Your AI ML data is helping with the prediction, what will happen next. With the analysis coming up, it's not only giving guidance to customer to rectify those particular environment. At the same time, with the AI analysis coming up, it helps with the better efficiency, better operational excellence, better PUE for the customers, right? So data centers are achieving better uptime, better PUE, and those benefits are obviously getting passed on to the customers as well. So this is how the data center evolution is happening. Entire digitization is happening actually, right? And this benefit is coming on the service model for the customer. Your automated response time, your automated ticket time actually, right? The tickets which are getting raised for internally for the data center, at the same time it is going to the next level where the tickets can be raised for the multiple OEMs as well on the automated way if the feedbacks are there. So this is how the environment is getting changed, right? With the digitalization of data center, the evolution which is happening. Please come to the next slide. These are building blocks of an AI-ready data center, right? Obviously, you need scalability, you need flexibility. The average density of racks where the customers used to demand 3 kilowatt, 4 kilowatt, 5 kilowatt. In the last couple of years, we have seen those particular changes coming up where it is reaching to 6 to 8 kilowatt of average capacity utilization. But now with the AI coming up, right, with the demand of the per rack density is going up to 50 kilowatt to 100 kilowatt. With the GPU based environment coming up, the demands of the racks are going 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 kilowatts. So data centers are ready with that. We can give you that kind of a flexibility, that kind of a cooling environment, right, which you can scale up as per your requirement. The security, not only physical security, which is up to 10 layer at the data center, your data security as well, which is becoming a norm, right? The environmental sustainability, the green power coming at the data center, how as an organization, how the data center is reducing footprint, and those benefits are getting passed on to the customers, right? The carbon footprint, you can also go and comply with any of your requirement. The future ready cooling technology, whether it's a liquid cooling, whether it's a liquid immersion cooling, your direct to chip cooling, all are getting ready available at the data center side. Your global compliances which are there, right, which could be the level of certification, your ISO certification, your right? It could be PCI DSS certification. So multiple level of certification, the global compliances are getting fulfilled at the data center side. Your low latency connect to hyperscaler cloud. So once you come to the data center, right, your the hybrid IT infrastructure is well suited. Your environment, your application can be on data center co-location. It could be on private cloud infrastructure. Your interconnectivity with the hyperscaler at almost at a zero latency, which could be achieved at the data center side. At the same time, interconnectivity with your manufacturing unit, interconnectivity with your other data center side, everything can be achieved along with various internet exchanges. So these are the benefits which are coming at the data center side. And your AI ML based operations, which help to achieve better efficiency, better operational excellence, better operational sustainability at the data center side. Come to the next slide, please. This is the technical architecture of the data center, right, which comes onto the automation side, right? You have a lot of these equipments which get fitted at the data center side. So there the power which comes from the grid to the substation to your electrical panel. When it comes to your rack, there are chiller plants, there are Pahu units, and there are sensors which are there which keeps generating a lot of data, right? So the analysis of this particular data, right, how it reaches to your rack at each level, those analysis are done for the better uptime, better operational efficiency at the data center side, right? We run our own algos actually at the data center side. We have our own tools on AI ML, right, which brings better dashboard not only for Cefi as well as for our end customers as well, which give you better view of your environment. What kind of environment are running, what temperature, what humidity sensors, what kind of a tickets can be raised, right, which can be for your internal environment, for the data center service provider, at the same time for your hybrid infrastructure along with your OEMs. You can access these dashboard around your laptop, mobile, right, because customers are on move, right, they want to access this particular data. So everything can be achieved on a go itself actually. So these are the environmental changes which are happening, actually the technical architecture upgradation which is happening, right, which is getting benefited for customers as well, and customers are getting better efficiency, better uptime. This is the transforming data center management with the AI ML. As we say that these particular transformations are happening over the years, right? How these transformations are happening with AI ML tools coming up at my data center facility. So customers get real-time visibility, right? Your operations at the operation level, your data center infrastructure asset level, what kind of a resource utilizations are happening, right? The customer opt for certain environment, whether customers are using those particular environment or not, whether they are paying more, how they can reduce that particular infrastructure, right, to bring better efficiency at their level, better cost optimization. So at each level there is a real-time visibility which is happening on your space optimization, your power which is there at each level, whether it's a grid level, your DG, UPS, right, energy exchanges which are there actually at cooling level, what kind of a temperature, what kind of a humidity environment is there at the cross connect level, fiber, copper, those changes which are there. So you get predictability, you get measurability actually, right? Each failure which is happening, how fast those resolutions are there, what kind of a tat time could be there, right? How those better response time would be there actually, and how fast this resolution can happen. So all those things as part of my maintenance activity, service support would be available, right? My operations, my uh, uh, operations team is able to give a better resolution for that same. They are able to do the better ticket management actually, right? The AMC contract realization which can happen, and we can able to offer those kind of a benefits for customer as well. So your demand forecasting, the kind of a utilization which is happening for you, as an example, you can predict the kind of a utilization which would be there for you next quarter, next year, kind of a scenario. So you can able to optimize your power, you can upgrade your power requirement, right, as per the requirement. Right, we talked about efficiency, very very critical aspect of the data center management actually, and how right, we are able to achieve 100% uptime, we are able to achieve better uptime, which we are able to pass on those benefits to customers as well. The entire capacity utilization which is there, your rack space, right, your power utilization, as I mentioned, the PUE efficiency, your DG level fuel efficiency, actually how it is getting achieved from 24 hours to 44 8 hours, the fuel tech efficiency which is there. The power cuts can happen anytime, right? How those data center is able to manage this DG power fuel efficiency, right? So that continuous operation can run. Your UPS power efficiency, right? How those backups which are coming from your, if the power failure is there, when it is getting shifted to DG, when it is getting shifted to UPS, actually how those transformation, auto transformation which is happening, actually your water utilization efficiency, how we are reducing this water usage, actually how better efficiently we are managing this water usage as well at the data center side. My carbon footprint, data center carbon footprint, how the reduction on that carbon footprint is happening, how I'm bringing green energy to the data center, right? How those data center carbon footprint reduction is happening. At the same time, my service and support efficiency, actually. So with the AI ML tool coming up, right, we have been able to reduce 8 to 10% saving on PUE itself. By 20% improvement is there on the equipment uptime which is there, up to 300% hour saving monthly which is there on the manpower front itself, actually, and 10% reduction in operating cost. All these benefits are getting passed on to the customer as well. So this is what we are trying to bring, that with this AI ML tool coming up, with the better efficiency we are achieving at the data center, everything is leading to better cost efficiency at the data center side, better PUE, better operational cost, better manpower cost, and we are able to pass on that benefit to customers as well. This is on the comprehensive security framework, right? My confidentiality, integrity, accessibility based security policies which are there, my central security command centers which are there, the multiple layer of security from the time you enter the data center site to till the time you reached your cage setup. 10 layer of physical security which is there. Surveillance and risk assessment happens at the entire site. Your electronic security and control measures which are there at the site, as well as process review and improvement which continuously keeps happening, actually these are the frameworks which are getting defined, right? So all these things, once you are there at the data center site as a customer, I would like to invite you all as well, where you can have a visit to the data center site and you can see all those security frameworks which are there at the site. Come to the next slide, please. The environmental sustainability focus remains a key for FIFI as an organization, right? To become 100% carbon neutral by 2030, right? At the first level, we have already gone ahead and did a contract of 231 megawatt of green power via purchase power agreement, which is there, right? My first phase deployment is already happening in my Rabale campus, which is the biggest campus for us, right? And obviously the data center mechanical equipment plumbing scenario which is there, how do we bring high efficiency for those particular environment. My entire sustainability process which is there, following the HTA guidelines, my environmental certifications, right? My carbon abatement policy which is there, the low PUE, the low water usage efficiency which is there. So we have already started taking a step toward the same. We have already signed a green power contract. The deployment is already happening in a couple of our data center facility, and in a phase wise manner it will reach to my other data center facility as well. We have this particular screen which is available at our Mumbai campus itself, actually, where each carbon unit getting transferred to the data center, right? Those live view is available at the data center site as well, right? Which we are ready to showcase to you as an example as well, how those green power benefits is coming to the data center, how we are reducing the carbon footprint actually at the data center site. These are the new cooling technologies which is emerging for AI workload, right? Very high density workload demand is coming from organizations, from the industry, right? Demand for 50 kilowatt, 60 kilowatt, 100 kilowatt, as I mentioned, actually, right? So with these multiple new age cooling technologies which are there, which CIFI is able to support at our data center facilities, with rear heat door exchanger solution coming up, my direct to chip cooling solution coming up, as well as liquid immersion cooling solution coming up. So these deployments are there at our data center site. right? And we will be able to showcase these particular environment, so you can come bring your workload, and we can see that how those particular uh, cooling is getting supported actually to achieve very very high dense workload environment. Actually, with this particular environment coming up, obviously the better achievement on the operational efficiency at the PUE level is also there, where the PUE is getting, where the standard PUE scenario of 1.6 1.7 was there, which is getting reduced to 1.2 to 1.4 as well. Network and connectivity highlight, as a data center service provider, right? We are very strategically located at all metro locations which are there. My data center sites which are there across India. Not only these data centers are interconnected, at the same time these data centers are interconnected with 66 plus other data center facilities across India, right? I have a pan India network presence, 36,000 plus kilometer of fiber across 24 major cities, which is there, 3,700 pop locations which are there, right? The data center is carrier neutral, right? You can bring your own telecom connectivity. At the same time, if we being into telecom, we remain as a preferred service provider, right? Uniform latency actually across locations which could be there, right? You meet me room, those these benefits are there when the customer at the data center site, right? Your interconnectivity, as I mentioned, interconnectivity with my data centers, interconnectivity with 66 other data centers, interconnectivity with hyperscalers, interconnectivity with public cloud environment, interconnectivity with internet exchanges. Those kind of environments are available at almost less than 1 millisecond kind of a latency. So those achievement would be there at the different data center side. So all those customers who are coming on hybrid environment, those who want multiple environment along with network connectivity, interconnectivity with different data center sites, along with private cloud, public cloud, this remains a key factor for them to choose the data center facility. With my achievement of less than 1 millisecond, less than 2 millisecond latency, right, from different data center sites, customer can have a better latency factor actually when they are choosing their application, when they are choosing their particular environment. So a lot of these common infrastructure which is there at the site, right? Kind of an example, hands and eye support. So you don't have, as a customer, don't have to go and take a lot of managed services. They don't have to deploy manpower. My shared resources can be helpful in a lot of those environments, whether it's a morning 6 o'clock or night 12 o'clock. My engineers who are there 24/7 at the site will be able to address your any kind of troubleshooting at the infrastructure level. Come to the next slide, please. These are my network fiber path, right? As at the in-campus connectivity, which is there, right, across locations for me as a data center service provider, right? We have a very, very high capacity bulk fiber, which are coming from different paths to my different data center building, different data center towers, which are coming actually to give you better resilience, better redundancy at the particular site, the right interconnectivity, right? All telecom service providers are available at the site, so you can choose your any telecom service provider, right, which is available at the site, right? At the same time, as we mentioned, interconnectivity and with the or fast connect, right, with those hyperscalers which are available, right? And we what we do actually at a campus, right? It's a large campus which is there, which give you scalability and flexibility to continue to grow, right? All these campuses are interconnected, all these towers are interconnected with very very high dense fibers actually, which give you almost zero latency even. So you keep on scaling actually, right? So when any customers come to the data center side, a lot of time they demand actually, my today requirement is this, after 5 years how you're planning to scale up. These are very very large campus, right, which give you a scalability, flexibility options to continue to grow for the coming years as well. As I mentioned, all interconnected towers are there, so which can give you almost zero latency once you are there at this particular data center site. Come to the next slide, please. These are SIFI data center footprint. We are available very strategically across all major locations. As you see, Mumbai 03 campus, Ravale campus, right, is one of the biggest data center campus in the country, right, with multiple towers within this particular data center site, which is there, right? As you see, all the green shaded one are the operational running data center facilities. The orange one are the one which is in construction phase right now, and the pink one are the one which is in planning stage right now. So multiple data center expansion which is happening across site. You can see this green shaded one across India, which is there. A lot of data centers are up running operational right now. So these are very, very strategic location from the access perspective, actually how you access these data center, right? From the interconnectivity perspective, from the fiber resilience perspective, how those fiber interconnectivities are there. And same way, since everywhere we are building large campuses actually, so this will give you continuity, your flexibility and scalability for the coming years as well. So you can see this, Rabale, Mumbai as a campus, which is there, multiple data center site, my Noida campus, which is there, right? Because we all some customers who are in Noida, NCR region, they want to stay in Noida, NCR region. Some of the customers which are there in Mumbai, they want to be in Mumbai facility. The Bangalore campus, Bangalore, we are starting a construction of a new Bangalore site, which is in aerospace. So this particular expansion which is happening. At the same time, my Kolkata, which is there to cater to the east market, Hyderabad as a very strategic location as a seismic zone stability, which is there at the Hyderabad site, as well as Chennai being another preferred site for a lot of customers, right? So we are building a large campus in Chennai as well. So this is my data center footprint, and we will continue to expand across locations, right? And maybe if you can come to the next slide, please, we will show you the kind of investment, the kind of an expansion which is happening. So this is my 14 data centers with almost 190 megawatt of IT power, which is getting expanded up to 300 megawatt. So major investment, because all these data centers are very, very heavily invested. Actually, captive investment is needed. So we are as an organization, we as an organization is going ahead and investing, and we are doing a lot of expansion across India. We are adding up almost 300 plus megawatt by 2025 would be there, right? And uh, uh, campus is scalable. As I mentioned, these are very, very large campuses which are there. We will continue to expand. We will continue to build a lot of resilience around these particular campus, right? As we follow RAS based design structure, when we say reliability, accessibility and serviceability will be there for the ready infrastructure which is there. As in my previous slide, I covered all data centers are AI ready, right? So you can go and host up to 100 200 kilowatt also in a single rack. So this is the kind of an environment which we are building right now. So India is becoming a power hub, right? It's becoming a data center hub, right? So a lot of these transformation which is happening, a lot of the large manufacturing, global manufacturings are entering India, and those kind of demands are coming, right? So we are as a data center service provider, we are ready with those kind of serviceability, right? How we will cater to those particular environment, which can GPU based environment where we can host those kind of rack density. Hyper-connected, carrier-neutral, rich interconnect ecosystem, as I mentioned, repeated again, interconnectivity with hyperscaler, interconnectivity with public cloud, interconnectivity with internet exchanges, OTT environment, all are available through my data center site. Almost 600 plus large enterprise customers, right, are running through my data center facility, right? And almost 10 level of security which is there, which is the highest kind of a physical security at any data center site across India, which is there from the time you enter to the data center till the time you reach your cage setup. Come to the next slide, please. These are my certifications and compliances which are there, right? And all MIDI certified, which remains a lot of requirement from a lot of these organizations, right? My data center is NVIDIA DGX ready certified, ISO certification, rated 3 certification, PCI DSS certification. These are all critical certifications. So as an organization, we are certified. So you as a service pro, as a customer, you don't have to go and figure out multiple compliances, because as a data center service provider, we are fulfilling all these compliances on your behalf. Please come to the next slide. These are my large campuses which are there, right? Mumbai, as I mentioned, right, 240 megawatt, scalable up to 500 plus megawatt, which we are planning to take it up. Right, 5 towers are already operational, 4 towers in development, 3 towers in planning stage. My Noida, one of the large campuses coming up, which would be one of the largest campus in Noida, 78 megawatt of IT power would be there. Same way, Chennai, we already have one data center in Tidal around, and another large campus is coming up in Siruseri, Bangalore, near to airport. One large campus is coming up, as well as Hyderabad. We are coming up with large data center campus in Fab City. So, SIFI is very, very strongly present across all manufacturing sectors, right? Some of the large global manufacturing companies are hosted in multi-hybrid environment on my data center co-location setup, as well as on my cloud infrastructure, which is the public cloud offering from SIFI Cloud Infinite, on the hybrid private cloud infrastructure, as well as on my network services, on digital services, right? So, multiple environment these customers are using, these global companies which are there, multi top multinational automobile manufacturer is hosted. The retail chain, global retail chain, is hosted out of SIFI data center facility. We feel proud as two of the leading global FMCG customers trust SIFI data center. They are hosting their DCDR kind of environment with SIFI, right? So four of India's top manufacturing companies rely on SIFI's network, right, which is managed by SIFI. They have our own fiber which are running across India. And the as I mentioned, the digital transformation is happening, right? The hybrid IT remains key focus for a lot of large manufacturing companies. We are able to cater to those particular requirement with all my hybrid offerings which are there on my colo, on my cloud, on my hyperscalers, right, on my network centric services, my private cloud infrastructure, plus my managed services portfolio. So as a portfolio, as an environment, I can offer the entire portfolio of services for customers. So this is SIFI for you, right? Your digital infrastructure partner. It's been 23 years from the time we launched our first data center facility, and this data center is still up and running. That's what we say, your digital infrastructure partner for over 23 years now, right? Tested and trusted, right? So thank you for giving me time for this particular presentation. I think forum is open for panel discussion, and we can take it forward.
Thank you, Gautam. Girish, since you have joined, anything that you would like to add from your end before we move to the panel discussion? You're on mute, Girish.
Yeah, sorry. So Gautam has covered most of all the points related to data centers. Only thing what I'm going to add here is, see, in SIFI, we have generation 1, generation 2, and generation 3 data centers. Generation 3 data centers are the latest one. Generation 2 are a medium, maybe we can say 3 to 4 years old. Okay, and generation 1 are 10 years plus. So what we are currently doing, all those modifications and the changes and the improvements which we are doing in Gen 3. So we are putting the same to Gen 2 and as well as Gen 1 data centers, that is generation 1 and generation 2 data centers. So that any data center across Pan India for SIFI will have the same process, the same customer visibility. So that project is already started, okay, and which we are going to implement it. So either you are going to any data centers, our plan is to have a completely a transparent and very clear in terms of the improvements and the technology advancement which we are doing for the latest should be available across all the DCs. Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Girish. And it's time now for the poll. The first poll question, as I had mentioned, we will be posting several poll, and it's important for us to see what you are thinking on some of these critical issues relating to the data centers and the IT infrastructure. So can we have the first poll on the screen, please? Can we have the poll on the screen?
After the panel, I'll share the screen.
Okay, so we will hold on to the poll for now and move on to the panel discussion. And once we can share the poll question, we will do that after the panel discussion. So thank you so much, Girish and Gautam. And as I said, it's time to now take forward what you have spoken about so far and see what the practitioners are also saying and what are their thoughts and the trends that they foresee within their organizations. And to start the panel discussion, please join me in welcoming our distinguished panelists. I have with me Vijay Krishna Iyengar, who is Associate VP IT at Bharat Fritz Werner, also called BFW, and Nilesh Srivastava, Vice President at All Cargo Gati. Welcome, Vijay Krishna and Nilesh. And I would request Girish and Gautam for both of you to join us back for the panel discussion.
Thank you, Shubhra. Good evening, all.
Thank you. So, can I, if possible, can we have all the panelists on the video? Possible, if that's possible. Great. So, my first question goes to the practitioners first, and Girish and Gautam, I would come to you after that because I want you to hear from the practitioners first, and then see, how you can also have your responses also cater to some of the trends that they speak about. So, Vijay Krishna, my first question to you is that if you look at the rapid advancements that are happening in the areas of analytics and
Hello.
artificial intelligence, machine learning, how well is your current IT infrastructure equipped to support these
Hello.
technologies? And what measures are you taking to ensure that your data centers can handle these advanced computing?
Shubhra, can you repeat the question? I lost your
Yes,
audio for
yes,
some
I will
time.
do that. I will repeat the question. So,
Yeah.
my question is that there are rapid advancements happening in the areas of analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. So, how do you see, the preparedness of your current IT infrastructure to support these technologies and these workloads? And what measures are you taking to ensure that your data centers can handle these advanced computing needs?
Yeah, we are a design heavy engineering company where we know bread and butter lies in a design. So we are looking at a VGPU solutions from the service providers like CP, whereby we can offload our design content and creation to the data center, and also a full flash storage where, because that is going to be critical for us, the compute and storage. Of course, the cyber security and availability, like presenter was putting at CIA, the confirmation, everything it goes without saying. I'm saying for us, our needs are high computing and full flash storage to keep our design drawings and do our lot of design in PLM and all those things. That is a key. That is a key requirement for us. And of course, we are also in the IoT in big data. Like we have our fully owned company, subsidiary who are specialized in IoT. So we consume a lot of IoT from our smart factory, newly launched factory recently in Tali, in the Osur, whereby the entire rail is in a conveyor, which we are taking from the end, every point, a lot of IoT is, data, we are collecting it. And also our machine itself is generating a lot of IoT, whereby the customers, we are talking about a pre-failure. Suppose there is a setup and it's going to hit something, and instead of damaging it, will protect and prevent it actually. That is all real-time analytics and real-time decisions are happening. So for all these things, we need a high computing and flash storage, these kind of, next gen sort of things we need actually.
So how equipped do you think your current data centers are to cater to these requirements and that you mentioned so far?
Yeah, it is a it's a ever increasing demand from our internal and external customers. So probably, yeah, we have to scale up. That is why we are looking at partners. Instead of investing everything in our own place, we are looking at outsource as much as possible to a third party data center, whereby this will be a large scale, and the cost will be coming down on that basically. Otherwise, if we try to put everything on prem, it will be a difficult thing, difficult proposition. So probably that's why we are expecting a partners to like CP to support us in this journey. Obviously, we have to gear up. We have to gear up fast. It's not that we are spinning out some VMs and all. This is high-end computing. Obviously, it needs a lot of effort and skill sets. So we are looking forward like that actually.
Great. Nilesh, the same question for you, because if you look at the logistics and transport industry, we are seeing equal, if not more advancements in the areas of analytics and AI ML. And we are seeing these logistics companies increasingly leveraging these technologies. So again, how would you rate your current IT infrastructure to support these technologies? And how are you looking at ensuring that your data centers can handle these the advanced computing needs that come with these kind of technologies?
Thank you, Shipra. Would like to start with, like you rightly said, we are not the manufacturing companies, we are the logistic industries. And our core business is the services to the customers, right? which include manufacturings and all kind of the pharma and everybody. The important point is this: ki we are, as we are not the IT based company, but definitely we have a strong IT hold, and we are always keeping technology as enablers, and we are always far ahead, and would like to say the current infrastructure which we have. So like 10 years back, we decided we will not own our own data centers. So earlier we had it, but after before 10 years, we co-located our data centers. So means we co-located our racks and server infrastructures, and our partner is, one partner is Sifi itself. They are here. So that is more than 10 years, because we have our uh, disaster recovery site at Chennai data center, Tidal Park itself, and we have our core data center which we have co-located in Hyderabad. This is tier 4 data centers, and that time it is the first data center which was the tier 4 data centers. So that was our planning, not to handle this entire data center infrastructure by own, because we are not the core IT companies, and having this skill set, keeping the skill set to run the data center 24 by 7 with all these tier 4 kind of capabilities itself required a lot of manpower. And if we also keep that kind of manpower in house, they will not quite busy, because handling a single data center, they don't have the much uh, uh, time for to invest on that. So definitely, and again, the high skill set is required to handle such kind of data centers, like the today trends, like which we have discussed, and Gautam has shared the AI ML based data center. So the whole requirement what we are looking at currently, which means we have co-located 10 years back, but now the AI ML big datas and analytics, these are the trends, and in supply chain all this is very much important. To be very frank, 7 8 years back, we have implemented IoTs in logistic itself. Means our entire shipments from pickup to delivery is scanned at each and every stage. So this is very much important functionality of the SCM supply chain business is track and trace. So understand where is your shipment at the right moment, and for that IoTs is helping us to present the data. Now the thing is that comes the communication, real-time communication with the scannings to the real-time access at the dashboard to the call center guys or the locations guys is very much important. So these technologies play a very much important roles, like AI and ML both. ML and AI help us to improve the route planning. Okay, so the predictive analytics is required. So one place to another place, there are the several routes to go. So which route is perfect at that moment to increase our delivery times, etc. So this communication, so the important thing is that we require a very reliable data centers, we require a resiliencies, we require a scalabilities, because once e-commerce business comes, you see the sales, etc., the traffic and load increase drastically at that moment, right? And then it again goes. So the elasticity is very much important at that moment to increase the scalabilities and elasticity kind of things. And then uh, we have to look into the this results, how it is coming up. So these are the important parameters we look into it. And now earlier we are having our applications in house, so we our co-located data center, the application is running up. Now because the trend is changing, earlier the application was monolithic approach, but now the modular kind of approach is coming. So the dependencies is now there are the new technologies has come up, where you get a more and more performance and the capacity to handle the big and big data, because this data is very much important. Security is very much important criteria, because these days once you are handling the shipments, etc., all the e-commerce companies, whether it is Amazon, Flipkart, etc., everybody requires the data compliance, and that things is very much important. So we have to ensure the data securities. Then if we are in the doing the international business, then it is as per government regulations where our data is lying. So this is very much important. We are choosing the data center, their regional locations, their availability zones, etc. So we are also coming up on the clouds, but the point is same. Cloud is also having the data centers, and ultimately these are the companies which having the data center, and cloud service provider is taking the service from these data center itself. So ultimately, uh, physical data centers is always remain, whether you are going to on the clouds or anything. And these days, if you see after the pandemics, again the trends of physical data centers is increasing continuously, because now the company is not in the situation to handle the securities, data securities, infrastructure securities, and the performance scalabilities. And now the new technology which we are talking about, like how to make the things sustainable, that is very much important. ESG is this time important point for each and every industries: environment, social, and governance. And for that, like, uh, you have to reduce the carbon footprints, and you have to reduce the electricity how to improve the cost, etc. So now these new technology has coming up, the cooling new technologies, right, which is consuming less power and giving the more efficient cooling. Now the thing is that if you go with the older way of coolings, and your data is increasing, your data size is increasing, and hits number of hits is increasing, then the more and more heat is generating, then you require the more and more efficient cooling system. So that, like liquid cooling, immersive coolings, these are the very important criterias. And these also helping us to reduce the power footprints, so the carbon footprint is automatically is reducing. So
Yeah.
these are the important parameter we have looked into it. And our whole strategy is now to keeping the more and more applications cloud based, so that the reachability is much faster, the dependency is less for us. And secondly, all the legacy applications is again in the on-prem and in co-located data centers, which we are already planning, right? So these are the whole strategies going forward.
So thank you, Vijay, Krishna, and Nilesh, for talking in detail about the kind of workloads and why it requires your data center strategy to be very critical. And we can see that both with manufacturing and logistics industry, AI and ML workloads are going to increase further. And how do you ensure that the data centers are equipped to handle these increasingly, powerful workloads? Before I come to you, Girish and Gautam, we can have the poll first, so that will also give you some, dope into what the other delegates here on this webinar are thinking on, whether they are thinking on similar grounds or different. So can we please have the poll on the screen, please? So the question is, what is your organization's top priority when it comes to IT infrastructure? We have 5 choices for you. So you can choose one of these, which is the topmost priority. We'll have the poll up on the screen for a few more seconds. So in case you haven't already taken the poll, please do so now. I think we have a few more seconds to go. In case we have most of the people taken the poll, then we can take it down. So can we take down the poll and have the results, please? Okay, so we'll have the results up soon. Okay. Enhancing cybersecurity measures is the topmost priority, followed by reducing operational costs through AI ML-led automation. I'm quite surprised that ensuring regulatory compliance is 0%. Perhaps, I think with an industry like BFSI and healthcare, it would be more prominent. But yeah, so before I come to you, Girish and Gautam, with the specific questions, anything that you would like to add from what you see in this poll survey?
Yeah, so Shipra, see, basically the priorities are, we have seen the cybersecurity as a key factor which is coming up. The reason being, generally the manufacturing industries are seen this as a risk for their data. So data is getting stored in the data centers, but if the cybersecurity content is not properly followed, then they see that as a risk, and this risk is widen enough in terms of the downtime. Okay, and that is the reason I think this poll indicates that the cybersecurity is the most important priority for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are seeing trends where, it not only a cyber attack or a cyber breach not only impacts the revenues, but also the reputation of the organization. So coming to the question specifically, Girish, SIFI has been in this data center space for over 2 decades now, which is a very long time. So are there any particular innovations and investments that SIFI is making to enable the AI landscape for the manufacturing and the distribution sector?
Yeah, so I will like to take this from the discussions with the other two esteemed panelists has mentioned about. So the point number one, everybody is emphasizing on three things. One is the high density racks, which is definitely coming with the AI ML, because AI ML, when we talk about it, is coming with the GPU kind of a requirement. So the density of the racks, which we have seen in the last 5 years, has increased from 3 to 6 kilowatt per rack to 35 to 40 kilowatt per rack. Okay, so point number one is the data centers are capable to handle this kind of high density. So the answer is yes, because in SIFI, we are building the data centers with 6.3 meters as a slab to slab height, where I can also house the 52U rack so that the density can be catered very well. Second thing is in terms of the cooling. So in terms of the cooling, now earlier it is only a standard cooling mechanism was there, that is below the false floor and having a cold line containment. Okay, now there are new innovations which are coming in the cooling. One is a rear door heat exchanger, second is chip level cooling, and third is you have a liquid immersion cooling. So all my data centers are now equipped with these solutions. So any customer who is coming, that customer can deploy the hybrid type of a requirement, that is some with the high density, some with the low density at the same floor. Okay. Third is the lowest latency. So the network, because when you are handling such a large data, then what is important is from the content to the eyeball, that without a delay, that should reach to the eyeballs. So we, being a SIFI Technologies, is a primarily a network-based company. So SIFI is having the very low latency deployments across pan India. So we serve to all those customers who are having that kind of requirement of the low latency. And the last, which is also very important, is indefinite growth. So if a customer coming and hosting their racks for 10 racks, 12 racks, and 15 racks, but definitely he is eyeing that in the near future he want to grow to 100, and maybe midterm he want to go to 400. So all my campus which are coming either in Noida, Chennai, Hyderabad, and Rabale are coming with the indefinite growth, okay, where the power has been already ensured, the cooling and the water is already ensured, and the white tile area, the space is also ensured. So we are meeting the customers today's demand, near future demand, and far future demand. So these are the three aspects what everybody talked about on the AI ML front, and how the data center footprint is going to increase across pan India. So now many players we see are coming in the data centers. And if you ask me, then in Navi Mumbai itself, 2600 megawatt is the total capacity which is coming in next 3 to 4 years. Okay, with SIFI is also having a very substantial share into that. So in the near future, we see that data centers will have a fantastic growth in India with AI/ML supporting into it.
Yeah, very rightly said. And I want to come to a very critical aspect of, data center strategy, especially in the manufacturing sector. And Vijay Krishna, I would like you to throw some light on that because we are looking at a lot of organizations who have moved to Industry 4.0. Though some are still on their journey, but we have organizations that are already thinking of or taking initiatives to transition from Industry 4.0 to Industry 5.0. So how important do you think your data center strategy will be in facilitating a seamless transition from Industry 4.0 to Industry 5.0?
See, for this, we will be definitely embracing technologies like AI, ML, and IoT and big data analytics, all these things, right? Now, if you look at it, it will be always on demand, and it is unpredictable. Demands will come. Many cases, we will not be knowing when that sudden spike will come. Actually, when these kind of situations, it is we cannot be over positioning or under positioning on prem. But if we go with a proper data center, we don't have to worry about the resources or skill sets. We can align our priorities with the business. If the business demands more, like a 4.0 to 5.0, we are talking about like AML, but you will never know when the go-to-market time will be shrinking. Actually, it is shrinking. We our customers are internal customers. I mean, the functions like marketing or quality or anything, they are all asking very quick turnaround. We have to do it actually. In this scenario, I would say going with a proper data center partner whereby we can consume the resources on demand. Like I know we can say high performance computing or flash storages or even services. Everything is becoming a service now. So all these services consuming, I would say it is better to embrace these things instead of like trying to build it on prem everything. See, there is a flip side of bringing everything in on-prem also. Many people are, maybe still skeptical about going to a data center route. But I would say, it's like, if I recruit proper person on-prem, I need a good sysadmin, I need a good database admin, I need a good cyber security expert, everybody. And I will not feed them, I will not be able to feed them 8 hours because they'll be doing their job. After that, they'll be get bored or get rested actually. So I always, these kind of niche skills, I prefer outsourcing because otherwise, if we are keeping it everything, if the person is really good, he will not stick with me. All right. But if he's sticking with me, he may not be good. That's what I feel actually. So better I get a quality resource from a third party on demand, and it could be a human resource or it could be a materials like systems. I'm saying a computer storage. It is always for us so that we'll be lean and we can quickly we'll be agile and nimble to enough to immediately address the business needs. So that way I prefer outsourcing it as much as possible.
Yeah. So when you're looking at transitioning from Industry 4.0 to Industry 5.0, the capabilities that your data center partner brings in becomes very critical.
Correct. Because we cannot build all these things. We will not know. We cannot be elastic. See, suddenly the spike will go up or spike will come down. It is pretty difficult for us to maintain everything internally.
Right.
And that
Right.
too, it's all high end, and of course the cost also matters. Like then we prefer that way. We'll outsource it and do it.
You briefly touched upon what you looking for, what you look for when you're choosing a data center provider, but I'll ask you more about that in the next question. But before that, Nilesh, if you look at the logistics industry, we are seeing a lot of innovations around IoT integration. How can we enhance supply chain efficiencies? We are seeing a lot of innovations and advancements in areas like robotics. So how important does your data center strategy become in driving these innovations such as IoT integration, supply chain efficiencies? If you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to say we are in the phase to revamp our entire applications. Our ERP is homegrown. Okay, since last 20 years back, we have developed our ERP. It's a very robust systems, including all end-to-end logistic facilities. So we are changing the entire landscapes from monolithic to modulars and with the new technologies because these things is very much important for the supply chain business. Like rightly I said, the artificial intelligence, IoTs, machine learnings, and big data analytics because this will help us to improve the entire end-to-end services. As I told you, the why big data is because data is required. So we are creating the master database and then big data lakes for that. Then again, there the analytics is required to understand the trends because we are always talking about the spikes in the business. So it need to be a very clear standing when the spike is coming. So how then we have to scale our capacities? So these things is very much important. So for that we have to, like rightly Vijay has also told, we are not going to keep all these things in house, because scalability is elasticity. We have to exploit the current capabilities which data center service providers has, or the cloud service provider have. These days these two terms is interlinked, because all the data centers service provider also providing the cloud services, which you called as private clouds or the public clouds or hybrid models. So all these data center are coming because these they are creating all these capabilities, like why they are looking for the sustainabilities and all these new technologies. For like cooling, they are talking about the three kind of coolings, and the high racks. Now the standard rack size is coming in the data center is not 42U. Now it is more than 50 and all, which Greece has also told he is considering in his data centers. And the height of the buildings they are increasing, because like this is all linked to sustainabilities and the carbon footprints, because they are reducing the horizontal space, and vertical growth is coming up in the data center environment as well. And why GPU based processor is coming up, and then they require the high. So because the performance is very much important criteria. So first we are changing our entire application landscapes to tackle all these new technologies, because new technologies require the new frameworks, new architectures, everything we are considering. Now, to deploy this applications, we require the uh, infra. So, which we are not coming up in house infra. As I told you earlier, our entire ERP is running on prem now, but we are moving to cloud. So, on the clouds, to handle all this infra, first things the basic infra physical infrastructure responsibility not lie to us, it lies to the cloud service providers. Then application is running on that, and how to scale up, scale down, etc. The new technology will take care of. Automation is required, that's why artificial intelligence is required over there. So if data centers service provider having that capabilities to run that kind of tools which can monitor the performance and decide when to upscale or downscales kind of things, then age locations for the end users to the content deliveries, it to be fast. So for that age locations, etc., these are coming into the pictures. Then the security depends on you, whether you are using the tools from the service provider or you are putting our own security tools. So we are very much conscious about the securities and cyber security, because each everybody is why talking about, and Greece has also linked it, cyber security, because we are having the data of the customers, and data security is the prime responsibility. If we lose the data, then entire business will on stack, because it will defame your entire organizations, you will not get the business. So handling the data is very much important. Ultimately, end of the day, we are having the data of the customer itself. We don't have our, like for example, manufacturing companies or the product company, they have their IPs, intellectual property, their own designs, etc. That they need to secure. But for us, we have to secure the customer shipment details and everything, their contact details, etc. And the new compliance like DPDP and everything is coming up, where we have to ensure, and the new law is coming how to uh, encrypt the entire data, the audit trails, etc. So these audit trails and everything is creating the more and more data. Again, the data, high data storage is required, and then analytics is required, so everything is required. So this is the whole strategies to go with the outsource data centers or cloud networks, changing the applications, and the core technology will be handled by the service providers. And in-house, the business operation we have to handle, how to convert the business requirement to the technologies, and then how to deploy it. So the conversion to technology up to us, and then deployment and the running the show up to the service providers. So these
Okay.
are the core
Yeah. So
strategies.
the last point that you made about data security, I think that kind of resonates also with what we saw in the audience poll. And very rightly said, you have data of millions and millions of customers. Like in case of Vijay Krishna, it's the IP. You mentioned about the engineering drawings, etc. And in your case, it's the customer data. So in both the cases, security becomes one of the biggest requirements when it comes to the data center capabilities. And I will let Gautam and Girish touch upon that later. But in the meanwhile, Gautam, the question that I have for you is that from the experience that Sifi has in the manufacturing and distribution sector, what are you hearing from the other IT leaders in the sector, and how do you see that aligning, your data center capabilities aligning with their priorities? You've heard from two practitioners here, two IT leaders here. What else are you hearing from the IT leaders in these sectors?
Thanks. So I think Dave and Nilesh, I think both mentioning just, and we keep hearing from all the IT leaders actually the similar kind of voice in the market, actually the same kind of a guidance which comes from the customers as well across manufacturing and distribution sector. So what from Sifi, the experience in the manufacturing and distribution sector, actually several key insight and priorities have emerged actually from conversation with IT leaders, right? So digital transformation customer talk about, and data center remain core of any digital transformation which happens in the industry, right? So for any customers demand for real time monitoring and predictive maintenance, right? What we were hearing right now for process optimization and predictive analytics, which they demand for how we can increase efficiency and reduce human errors, right? So but at the data center front, actually integration with my cloud which happens at the data center side. So as data center remain core, right? Integration with the a public cloud, private cloud, right? So how we can give those scalability for customers, at the same time we bring those cost saving actually, right? As we see in the poll as well, right? The cyber security, right, which remains a key actually. So customer asks for digital transformation accelerator, right? So does the need for robust cyber security also arises at the same time, right? Your threat detection and response. So using AI tools, how we are able to detect and mitigate threats actually at the data center side, how we are ensuring those data protection, how we are ensuring those compliances with data protection regulation and safeguarding intellectual property at the data center side. So at the same time, how we keep upgrading those workforce actually, right? So at the internal part of the SIFI, we keep upgrading our internal workforce so they know what kind of a new age technology, no new kind of a threats which are arriving. At the same time, we keep using these particular forums actually to upgrade these customer workforce as well, right? How those new changes, new deployment, new technology upgradation, new kind of a threats which are arising in the market. So what from the customer's perspective, obviously how we are utilizing those data, how we are using those intelligence actually at our data center side, right, to do predictive analysis, right, to bring better efficiency, my operational excellence at the data center side. With those particular analysis, how I'm able to do cost optimization, right? At the same time, I'm able to pass on those benefit to the customer. Nowadays customer are also talking about sustainability, right? How we are adopting green technology at the data center, right? As I mentioned as part of my presentation as well, right, how CIPI is deploying those green power at the data center side. So implementing energy efficiency system and green power actually at the data center side gives sustainability process for the customer as well, by fulfilling those regulatory compliances, right? Ensuring my operational as well as environmental regulations which we are fulfilling at the data center side, as well as at the same time using technology to reduce waste and optimize the use of resources, right? All these things works up as part of the demand from the customer. At the same time, it goes as a benefit to the customer itself actually, right? So the entire workforce transformation which is happening right at the data center side. So we hear from a lot of IT leaders, right, in the manufacturing and distribution sector are driving forward initiative that not only addresses current operational challenges but also align with long-term industry priorities, right? So Sifi is obviously aligned with that. We are doing those supply digital transformation, right? We are bringing those particular changes for our customers as well. As Girish mentioned, how those changes from Gen 1 to Gen 4 data centers are happening, AI ML deployment happening at the data center, and these are getting benefited for the customers as well.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Gautam. And Girish, before I come to you on the critical aspect of security, Vijay, Krishna, and Nilesh, my wrap-up question to you is: what is it, or what are the critical factors that you look for in a data center provider, especially including factors such as sustainability? You already mentioned about it, but what would be those top three critical factors that you look for when choosing a data center provider? So, Vijay, Krishna, maybe you can take a go at it first.
I would say reliability. See, that is the most important thing. The SLA is committed to be honored, and now we are talking about 100% SLA, not even talking about 99.99, 79 and all. So that is the first thing is the reliability. So it should be always available to our users. Of course, that we have to identify our crown jewels. Like in our case, like Nilesh is having customer data, but we have our IP and our ERP. ERP is of course SAP we are using, and other mobile app and all. So these all bread and butter, which is we are not just keeping lights on. We have to ensure that it's a CA foundation, it's a triad is being handled. So I would say first point is reliability definitely. Then obviously the cost is the key actually, then I would say the reputation, like, it is data center is not like fly by night, it's overall the brand is, building the reputation over a period. So these all we will factor, and of course we have to see the cyber security, then you have to see the, environmental, we are talking about sustainability, governance, and everything. But I, I would, for me, reliability is the number one and two and three. Even I would say.
Is sustainability becoming a increasingly important factor going forward?
Yeah, it is increasingly important because we are getting corporate days when you are growing up, like see you are growing to the other markets like Europe and all. They'll be questioning this. They'll be, that weightage you will get. Suppose you are, as far as your local Indian market where you may not be feeling that pinch, but the moment you are going global, the customers will be asking whether you are doing this because it's a global phenomenon. Climate change is all real. Yes, definitely it is important, but are not at the cost of reliability. I cannot say that, without compromising reliability and cost and all, if we are able to do the sustainability, it's a good thing. Even if you ask me current at state, maybe mindset from the business, the need to have is reliability and cost. Sustainability is still in the good to have level only. But obviously it will be, become a need to have sooner or later. But at the moment, this is the current state.
No, well, rightly said. I think a data center provider should be able to balance reliability, security, cost with sustainability.
Sustainability. Yeah.
Yeah, because increasingly going forward, as more and more companies they operate in a global ecosystem, and globally there is there and also internally there are a lot of key mandates coming up on the sustainability requirements as well. Yeah.
That will be.
Yeah. So, Nilesh, what is your take? I've heard you talking very passionately about the sustainability aspect of. So, besides that, what are the top three priorities for you
See, the
when
first
you look at
priority
your
is always sorry, but the first priority is always while choosing the data center is the location of the data center, because that is very much important from the multiple point of view, like business continuity point of view. That is very much because ultimately we have to run the business. So business continuity is the first priority. Where will we are primary and where will we are secondaries? And like past histories of these cities where the data center is the disasters, etc. If you see, like I have shared with you, that Chennai was our site, and before this 5 years before the flood condition in the Chennai, before that there was no such any situations in the Chennai has been heard, and even people were surprised when this has happened. And even that situations also are there are no complaint has come from our data center point of view. So that is the means the terms we talk about the reliabilities of the service providers. So we appreciate in such a situations itself we have not faced any challenge. So like first is the location that I told you. Second is the tier ratings of the data center. So like tier 4 earlier, now tier 5 is coming up with this all these technologies where the sustainability is keeping in the mind. So like if you talk about the highs u of the reacts, why they are taking, because they want to reduce the space. Okay. Secondly, the cooling way they have changed. So the electricity will get reduced in that the normal power supplies, because there are the different way of cooling, the liquid is being used where no power is required. So like again it is related to sustainability, carbon footprints. Okay. these all things are integrated to each other. And secondly, they are providing the more and more efficient coolings. So means the ultimately performance is the criteria. So why tier 5 is because it include all. So we don't need to discuss about the PUEs or like cost, because ultimately the cost is reducing and all these factors is coming up. And then security is physical security. It also, because in the, if you talk about tier 5 or tier 4, they are that 10 times higher physical security, means 10 layers of security, 12 layers of security people are talking about at a multiple scannings, etc. Okay, so these physical security will, because ultimately data and the application level securities or any logical securities up to the customers. It any service provider will not ensure it. It is the customer responsibility. But the physical securities comes under the data center. So that is very much important, because the reachabilities and even your own administrators or the persons who has the privilege to reach over there, everything should be recorded, because you don't know the employee itself is a risk. So these are the another criteria. And then your services, what kind of services you are looking for the data centers,
Yeah.
whether it is like only the infrastructure as a services or platform as a services. So that kind of services, whether the service provider is providing to you or not. And ultimately the end of the day, the cost, that is
Absolutely.
very much important. So these are the main criteria to understand.
Yeah. I think most of the delegates will kind of resonate with the top criteria that you mentioned, especially for manufacturing and logistics. We have representation from both the key industries, and it was good to hear what you look for in a data center. And Girish, now I want you saw the poll where security was the topmost concern, or rather topmost priority when organizations were looking at the IT infrastructure. So I want to wrap up this discussion with this critical aspect, or rather this critical question. So if you to look at security, is it is they're definitely a major concern for manufacturing and distribution organizations, as we saw in the poll, especially with the distributed and remote work environment. So how do you ensure your customers' data is secure, protected, and it always remains compliant with the regulatory needs?
Yeah. So uh, when we talk about the security is in the two phases. One is the security on data, or the security on the network connectivity. And second is the security at the data center locations. So generally, all the customers are responsible for securing their data with the necessary firewalls and all those technologies which are available, where a co-location player can only suggest, but he is not responsible for. But when it talks about the physical security, so now in the physical security, what we provide at all our data center is 9-layer security. This security starts from the perimeter boundary till the person has to reach to its server rack. So at 9 different locations, there is a different type of security to avoid the piggybacking, to avoid the force open, okay, and to avoid the breach of security. Okay, so these 9-layer securities we are providing going forward, because always we look forward beyond what customer expectation is. So we are starting with 3 additional security layers. One is the intrusion detection, because one is somebody intentionally wants to enter inside the data center premise through the boundary walls. Although you have all kind of a securities, like you have a 8 meter of wall, then on the top of it the barbed wire, and sometimes with the electrical fencing. But looking beyond what can go wrong in the security, so we have provided the intrusion detection. When the intrusion detection sounds the alarm, the lights as well as the cameras immediately get focused on that. Okay, so that intrusion detection can be immediately attacked and it cannot have any risk to the data. Second thing, with now the technologies are advancing, so the facial detection. Okay, so like for example, everybody knows that when you enter inside the data center, you have given a certain access levels for the designated locations where you should go and you should work. Either it is from the customer point of view, either it is service point of view. So if the person by mistake or by intention, if he want to access another floor, then these facial recognition cameras will sound an alert before that person gets an entry inside. So these are the two advancement we are bringing into the system. So on the physical security, we have a lot of innovative ideas as well as technologies we have implemented. Okay, one of such I can talk about the guard tour. Like we have seen that in the night shift, okay, the security guards keep sometimes take the rounds, sometimes he doesn't take the round. So with the guard tour, with the NFC tag or RFID tag, we ensure that all the physical security guards are getting to all the designated place as assigned and scheduled for him. Third is on the material movement, because one is the man movement, another is the material movement. Now on the material movement, we are working on the three aspects of it. One is the RFID tag systems for the materials which are entering inside. So you know the material entry to the material exit, all is life cycle with this RFID system. Second thing is we are coming with the automation into material system for the logistic support within data center. So within the campus, the customer can get a complete details on the movement of the material. So that is also we are bringing in. So a lot of new technologies continuously we are working upon and we are implementing in CP data center. Yeah.
Thank you, Girish, for giving us that overview of how important security is and how we are catering to those requirements for manufacturing and distribution organizations. It was a wonderful conversation. I think we could have gone on, but it's time to also take some questions from the attendees. And while we were having this conversation, we've seen a lot of questions coming in. Before we move on to the Q&A session, Vijay Krishna, Nilesh, Girish, and Gautam, thank you so much. It was wonderful talking to you. And we will have let's give the attendees the option to connect with you later on in case they want to understand more. Okay, so it's time now for the second poll question before we head into the Q&A session. So can we have the poll question on the screen, please? So the question is, how far along is your organization in its IT infrastructure journey with respect to data centers? So it's a single choice question. So you have 5 options that you can choose from. I'll just repeat the question. How far along is your organization in its IT infrastructure journey with respect to the data centers? We have a few more seconds. So in case you haven't already taken the poll, please do that. We can have the poll up for a few more seconds so that everyone gets a chance to vote. And after that, we will display the results. So if everyone has voted, can we show the results now? We can have the poll question off the screen and show the results. Okay, so advanced but with ongoing improvements is where most of the organizations are currently, with 29% saying that they are moderately developed with significant progress. So I think ongoing improvements is something where most of the organizations are. I think this is considering the workloads will keep shifting and they will keep evolving. I think continuous improvement is where most companies will continue to be in their journey. So thank you so much for taking part in this poll. And now we will move on to the Q&A. Like I said, we have received a lot of questions, but we will try to answer as many as possible in the limited time that is available to us. So the first question is, how do you migrate big data infrastructure to hybrid cloud with modernizing Gen AI and IoT solutions without any increase in IT infrastructure or service cost for companies migrating to cloud? Anyone would like to take that? Girish, Gautam, either of you would like to take that?
I think we can have this. We have to understand this particular analysis, but these particular deployment has already started happening. I think we can because these particular to understand the data analysis actually it's required a lot of time and analysis is required actually. So we can have a detailed discussion with the person who has generated this. We can have a separate discussion with them on the same.
Okay. The next question is which of the data centers are ESG compliant? So you want to talk about that?
All our
Gautam?
data centers are ESG compliant actually, right? We are getting those relevant certification at the data center site, right, which are related with environment, our ISO, our 14001, right, which is on environmental sustainability. Also, we are deploying that. At the same time, anyways, green power deployment is happening across sites. So all our data center, I can say, is on ESG compliant that way.
Right. We have been talking about AI-ready data center, since the beginning of this webinar. But so we have received this question that what exactly is an AI-ready data center? So if you can, answer this question. While we received one question, I think this will be on the mind of many other delegates.
So AI ready data center works in both the ways, right? AI ready data center, you can bring AI workload, right, which can be hosted at the data center side, as we mentioned, right? The customers are demanding very, very high dense rack requirement where the loads are going up to 100, 150, 200 kilowatt. So those with the deployment of cooling technology, the site is ready, right, where customers can bring those kind of a workload. So my data centers are AI ready in those environment where I can provide those new age technology solution, new age cooling solution, whether it's a direct to chip liquid immersion cooling. So one way is that my data centers are ready to host those kind of environment. Second is that I'm deploying AI tool at my data center actually, where it can give predictive analysis to bring better efficiency, my operational excellence, my operational right efficiency, which we are bringing at the data center site, right? So those AI tools are getting deployed to do predictive analysis and bring better efficiency at the data center site. So we are doing both the ways actually. So that is what we say AI ready data center.
Okay. Another question is whether SIFI data centers working on private cloud-based system ensure client data security and confidentiality.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have very, very stringent compliances around the same, right? Though we offer these private cloud infrastructure, but at the same time, we follow a lot of these compliances, right? How those data are secured. Even if those customers are moving out, we have very, very stringent NDA signed, how we destroy that particular data, how we remove that particular data as well. So there are norms, there are compliances, there are guidelines which are defined actually, and if is into that particular business for long, there are a lot of large BFSI customers are hosted with us where there are a lot of audits happen from those particular customers. So my internal auditors are there, my external auditors are there. At the same time, there are customer auditors as well. So we follow those particular compliances, how we fulfill those particular data security that way.
Okay. Perhaps we have time for one last question. How do the SIFI data centers ensure data security of cloud-based system servers when the systems are working remotely with any kind of ransomware or malware attacks from hackers?
So I think for that detailed analysis would be required, right? But at the same time, what we do at network level, we do implementation of network firewall to block unauthorized access. There is the intrusion detection and prevention system, which is there. There is the DDoS protection and secure network architecture is there. There is security framework has to come at each level, including aggregating and analyzing security event data in real time to detect threats. So there are a lot of, as Girish also mentioned, there's a physical security. At the same time, there is a data security. It's a mix of both the things which we are deploying at the data center side.
Great. Thank you so much, Gautam, for answering those questions. And before we wrap up the webinar, I have one more poll to go up. So can we have the last poll of the session? So what is your current stance on utilizing external data center services? Again, it's a single choice question. So do you vote on whichever is your current stance on utilizing external data center services. I think we have a few more seconds to go. So anyone who hasn't voted yet, please do that now before we take the poll off the screen. Okay, so can we have the results on the screen, please? Okay, so majority 40% are open to using co-location services, followed by actively transitioning to outsourced hosting solutions. I think it's pretty much in the same tune as what Vijay Krishna and Nilesh were talking about. The need to go outside and look for outsourced hosting solutions and co-location services, because it's very difficult to do everything in-house. So thank you so much, everyone, for taking out time today to be part of this webinar and for your active engagement. I thank you for being a part of this. And I hope you found the webinar to be insightful. Your participation made it a valuable experience. We appreciate your time and contributions. And as you log off, you will have a survey form, a feedback form, which will come up. I request all of you to please fill in that, as it will be very helpful for us. Your feedback will make a lot of difference to improving our webinars. Thank you so much, and hope you have a great day ahead.